Hello viewers, tutorial 3 question 6. The golden ratio is the positive solution to x equals 1 plus x. Find the golden ratio. But before we do that, I want to make a few remarks about what the golden ratio actually is. So if we have a rectangle whose sides are in the proportions of the golden ratio, so let's say the height is 1 and the width is x, as you see drawn there in red, then it is said to have a look about it that suggests that everything just looks like it's in the right kind of proportions. And for this reason, the golden ratio crops up a lot in the world of art. So if we take this rectangle and we cut it into a rectangle plus a square, so the square on the left and the rectangle on the right, so the square will have to have a width of 1, which means the rectangle has to have a width of x minus 1. So the proportions of this rectangle, the smaller side is going to be x minus 1 over the longer side is 1. And what about the larger rectangle? The smaller side over the larger side is going to be 1 over x. So if we have the smaller rectangle being in the same proportions as the larger side, then we must have that x minus 1 over 1 equals 1 over x, which implies, let's separate this out into two separate fractions. X over 1 is x, and then minus 1 equals 1 over x, and therefore x equals 1 plus 1 over x. Okay, so that is the significance of the golden ratio and where that equation x plus 1 over x comes from. Let's now solve it. So it's going to be a quadratic equation if we multiply the whole thing through by x, which we need to do. So we've got x times x is x squared equals x times 1. Remember, we've got to multiply everything in this equation through by x. That gives us x plus x times 1 over x is 1. So that's a quadratic. We want to move everything to one side of the equation, so we get x squared minus x minus 1 equals 0. And we're going to solve this by the quadratic formula. We can't factorise it because look for two numbers that add to minus 1 but multiply to minus 1. There isn't such a pair, at least not in the whole numbers. Okay, so we're using the quadratic formula. A equals 1, B equals negative 1, C equals negative 1, and the quadratic formula, x equals negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a, which is going to be negative b is negative of negative 1 is 1 plus minus square root of b squared is 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1 divided by 2, which is, if we work out what's under the square root, we get 1 plus minus square root of 5 divided by 2. So that has two solutions. It has solutions of x equals negative 0.618 and positive 1.618. Okay, so we're only interested in the positive solution, so the golden ratio is x equals 1.618. Okay, thanks for watching, over and out.